I've been a full-time professional drummer for over 6 years now, which means I get to play stuff like this with some of the best players around. And what I noticed very quickly is that every elite level drummer is going to follow a set of unspoken rules that will help them dominate the kit every time they sit down. And in this video, I'm going to reveal to you the 7 laws of chops that will make literally any player sound like they're in the top 1% of drummers. What exactly are these 7 laws? I'm glad you asked. Number 1 is go slow to go fast. Number 2 is listen to yourself. Number 3 is remember your rudiments. Number 4 is read the room with your touch. Number 5 is placement is king. Number 6 is going to be focus on technique. And number 7 is going to be always enhance the ensemble. I've come to learn that if you're breaking any of these 7 laws, then you're holding yourself back from reaching your full potential. How do I know? Because these 7 laws is what took me from a drummer who has 0 to no gigs and no skill to playing and traveling around the country doing music full time. And by the way, if you want to play like me, then hit the link below in the description to find out how we can work together one-on-one, and I will help you speed up the process to become the best drummer that you can possibly be. Now, let's jump into these laws. Law number 1 is go slow to go fast. This sounds like exactly what it is. If you want to be clean, have great flow, and play quickly around the drums, you have to learn how to practice slow. I talk about this on my channel all the time, and I even have videos of me demonstrating how to do this. You want to make sure that you can play things slow. When you can play slow, that helps you download the chops into your muscle memory, and that's going to put you in a position to where you no longer feel like you're guessing. You no longer feel like you don't know what you're doing. Because your muscle memory is so caught up to your mind and your limbs, you're going to be able to play all sorts of figures and be able to play them cleanly and quickly because you play them slow, which helps download them into your muscle memory. I know y'all heard the saying before, you got to crawl before you can walk, and that's exactly what this law is touching on. You want to make sure that you can play things at a very, very, very slow speed before you try to play them fast. If you want to play anything difficult, you have to remember that you need to play it slow first before you play it fast. The next time you sit down behind the drums, I want you to take your favorite chop that you like to play, and I want you to play it at a fast speed, but then continuously slow it down. And I want you to get it down all the way to 50 BPM. I can guarantee you, once you get down to 60 and 50 BPM, you are gonna start making mistakes in how you play that chop, because you don't really truly know a chop until you can play it very, 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 very slow. That's how you know it's downloaded into your muscle memory, and that's how you know it's absolutely ready to go, and it will come out with no mistakes, and it will come out confidently. So many people be like, yo Zeke, I want more confidence. How do I get to play with more confidence? Slow down so you actually know what you're playing. A lot of y'all don't even understand what you're playing. You're just going for stuff and you're guessing, and certain musical situations can expose you if you're doing that. Now let's move on to law number 2. Law number 2 is going to be listen to yourself. A lot of people think that when they get some chops or they get some stickings or they apply some rudiments to the kit, all they have to do is just move it around and it will sound cool. And that cannot be further from the truth. If you want to sound good as a drummer, you need to listen to the chops that you're practicing and find out where they work. I got some dope stickings in my arsenal, but sometimes when I play them, I have some pretty cool chops in my arsenal, but they don't always work everywhere on the drums. You have to take the time to practice slowly, like we said in the last step, and actually see where the chop fits and where it sounds good. This is gonna put you in a position to actually know what sounds good and know what chops you can rely on and how you can play them. Just picking a chop and moving it around aimlessly without thinking and thinking it sounds cool is not going to be the way that you are gonna sound like an elite level drummer. That is how you get the shoes in a dryer sound. Whenever you just moving it, just moving it around and hoping that it sounds cool. No, take the time to actually stop and play the chop and listen and say, ooh, I like the way it sounds right here. I'm gonna practice it this way for 10 minutes straight at a very slow pace. And that is gonna help you know how you can use the chop and know how you can incorporate it into musical situations. A lot of y'all have some chops in your bag, but you don't know how to play it. You don't know where it sounds cool. Now, you'll start to expand your vocabulary with that one chop when you find out multiple ways that it sounds good on the kit. But I have a lot of options when it comes to different chops that I can play, but I know that these specific chops are going to sound good in very specific ways. And if I play them in different ways, it doesn't always sound good. So that's where listening is going to come in. A very powerful thing you can do as a drummer is listen to yourself. Listen to what's coming out of you and make corrections as you go along. And that is going to skyrocket your playing in the end. Let's move on to law number 3. Law number 3 is remember your rudiments. The drum set is a combination of marching percussion instruments. That's where it derived from. And if you know anything about marching percussion, you understand that it is built off of a foundation of rudiments. So if you want to be good at the drum set, you cannot neglect the very thing that it was built off of. We all know as drummers that there's literally thousands of rudiments that you can learn, but just start with the 40 essential rudiments. These are going to be the ones that you can quickly rely on when it comes to working on your vocabulary or working on your creativity. If you do not know the 40 essential rudiments, that is something that you should jump into immediately, and you should know them rather quickly. If somebody tells you to play lesson 25, you should be able to play it. If somebody tells you to play double paradiddles, you should be able to just play them immediately. Look over the list and dive into these things. If you don't know your rudiments, it will hinder the directions you can go into musically. It'll put you in a position where you're not able to expand on ideas or go in crazy different directions because you simply only know what you know. The rudiments is going to push you out of your comfort zone to play things that you don't typically play. And whenever you get in a position where you're doing that, that's when your creativity starts to expand and you're able to do more things. They call it vocabulary for a reason, y'all. Think about it like this. Whenever you're working with a child that's trying to learn how to read, they have what they call flash words. Flash words are the quick words that you're supposed to know quickly so you can put together sentences and develop your vocabulary. Words like before, words like that, if, is, the. These are words that you have to use in order to use the English language. Think about your rudiments in the same exact way. This is going to be the foundation of your vocabulary. A lot of people struggle, man, I don't have my creativity. I don't know what to play here. I don't really know what to do here. I need to expand my vocabulary. The best way to do it is to dive into your rudiments. And at first, I'll tell you, it's not gonna be fun. It's not gonna be a wowing thing. But whenever you start moving around the drums and you start playing different things, you're gonna start hearing small things from your rudiments pop out here and there because you're making it a part of what you can do. Do not limit yourself by not learning rudiments. If you don't know your rudiments, you're not going to be able to branch off and try different things and go into different avenues. And that is gonna crush your creativity and keep you stuck at a plateau. Now, let's move into the next law. Law number 4 is going to be read the room with your touch. You absolutely have to make sure you're playing with the proper touch. Let's use this as a scenario. If you are in a restaurant and it can only fit 100 people and it's not very big, you should not be playing with a heavy touch. Now, this may seem very obvious. It's like, Zeke, duh. But y'all will be surprised the amount of people that are always playing very, very, very loud in a soft setting, or you'll be surprised at the people playing very, very, very soft in a loud setting. The opposite of what I'm talking about is if you're in a 1,000 seater concert hall and you're playing with absolutely small touch whenever you're supposed to be big. It's all about understanding your touch. This can hinder a band in a terrible way. You want to make sure that you're meeting the musical expectations in a proper way, but you're also not taking away from what the music is trying to convey to the audience. The best way for you to know what touch to use is for you to know what genre you're playing. If somebody is calling a jazz song, then you already know your touch is supposed to be light and delicate. If somebody's calling a rock song, then you already know your touch is supposed to be heavy and authoritative. Now, the thing I like to tell people is, if you are in a very, very, very large venue and somebody calls a jazz tune, you're not gonna play that light. You're gonna have a delicate feel, but if it's a larger venue, you wanna make sure the sound is carrying, and that concept is gonna be the same the other way around. If somebody calls a rock tune in a very, very, very small venue, you're not gonna wanna just blast the people that's sitting right there eating dinner right in front of you, playing it strong. Oh, it's a rock song. This is the genre. I'm playing it how it's supposed to be played. No, make adjustments. That's why I said it's all about touch. Whenever we say volume all the time, we're not really getting down to what we really mean. So that's why I said touch, because your touch is going to determine your volume. So you want to make sure that you listen to the genre. If they call a specific genre, you think about, okay, what touch does that genre use? And then after you answer that question, look at the room around you, read the room and say, okay, I need to play it this way. It's okay for me to play a little bit louder because this is a larger room. Or even though this is a rock song, I can't really slam it as hard as I usually could because this room does not account for that amount of aggression. You know what I mean? You really got to break it down and really see what direction you can go in. The drummers already get a bad rep. People are already expecting the drummer to be loud. I mean, sometimes whenever I go to auditions or I'm playing in a certain place, before people even hear me play, they put their earplugs in. And I take that as an insult because I'm a professional. This is what I do. And you should take that as an insult as well if that happens to you. Be a professional and let people understand that you understand what it means to read the room with your touch and you know how to approach these different musical situations, and the earplugs are not needed. This is one of those things that are definitely going to set you apart from an amateur and somebody that does this professionally. Now, let's move on to law number 5. Law number 5 is going to be placement is king. Chops is already a very, very controversial thing, and you already know that it's people out there that hate chops. You don't need to play these chops. All these kids care about is flash. Chops is the worst thing ever. If you approach your placement right, you are gonna prove those people absolutely wrong. Placement is king, placement is everything. You have to know when and where you can lock into some chops and when and where you can play these certain things. If you can find out how you're supposed to slip the chops in, how to incorporate the drum fills, how to incorporate the drum solos, then you're gonna be a-okay. Number one, you wanna make sure that you understand the musical context. Am I supposed to be doing this right now? Should I be playing this right now? Should I be doing this at this particular time, or should I lay back? If you can ask yourself these questions and answer the question honestly and be truthful in what you're saying and what you're about to do and back your choices up, I can promise you, no one can ever say you're being too flashy or you're doing too much. But you can be a drummer that is doing too much if you don't know where to place what you're doing. The key to placement is being cognizant of what's going on. Do you know what's going on? And do you know what you should be doing in that moment? The better you get at understanding what's happening musically, the better you're gonna get at being able to throw in chops and throw in drum fills at the perfect time without pulling the attention away from the ensemble or pulling the attention away from whoever it's supposed to be on. This is an art, y'all. It's something that you really gotta study, but you gotta understand placement. And definitely watching other drummers and studying other drummers who have it down properly is going to be a great way that you can get good at this. Now, let's move on to law number 6. Law number 6 is going to be focusing on technique. Technique is such a very, very important thing because it's one of those things where if you do it wrong, you could quite literally end your career early by injuring yourself, and you don't want to be injured. The first thing I always teach my students is do not squeeze the stick. You should be completely relaxed when you're playing the drums. Your body should almost feel like you're getting ready to fall asleep. That's how relaxed you should be. If you squeeze the stick, you're gonna run the risk of injuring yourself and getting things like carpal tunnel and de Quervain's disease and things like that. During my time at Berkeley, I actually ended up suffering from a small injury, which was called de Quervain's disease, because I was squeezing the stick a little bit too much, and it actually set me back and I had to stop practicing for a while. So you wanna make sure that you're holding the stick properly, that you're striking the drums correctly, and that you're taking care of your body. You will never be able to continue playing drums if your technique is bad. Eventually you will have to pay the price. Now, people love to talk bad about chops. Oh, stop playing chops, stop playing chops. You can actually play with bad technique longer if you're just grooving than you could if you're trying to be articulate and flow and play chops. What you'll begin to notice is a lot of people that are proficient in chops and can play and flow around the kit effortlessly, those guys usually typically have good technique because it's borderline impossible to be able to play at high speeds and be able to flow around the kit naturally and feel loose with playing with bad technique. It's like really, really hard to do that. So chops almost force you to get your technique better faster because you can just groove and play with horrible technique for a very long time and it won't really matter. So I always tell people, chops is gonna help you focus in on your technique, and better technique is always gonna lead to you playing better chops. Technique is something that you always study and you always get better at. You never fully figure it out. You wanna keep learning new things. You wanna keep learning how you can alleviate your body, learning different stretches to relieve your hands and protect your hands so you can be an effortless drummer and move around the kit, because technique is a big thing and you definitely won't be able to play amazing chops if your technique is not good. All right, let's move on. And last but not least, law number 7, enhance the ensemble. People fail to realize that your chops can be a tool that you can use to accent the ensemble and enhance what is going on musically. If you got some horn lines playing over here, how can you incorporate your chops into that horn line? Like, we have to understand that the creativity when it comes to chops is bigger than just playing a drum solo or doing a quick drum fill, you have to listen to what's going on musically, listen to what's happening in the lyrics, and use your creativity, your chops, and your drum fills to enhance those things. And that is gonna point the listener's ear to that thing, which is what the artist is going to want you to do. So don't just think that your chops is only to make yourself look cool and to look cool on Instagram and just to play chops and look dope for a drum solo. No, you wanna use your drum fills and your chops to enhance the ensemble. Listen to what's going on and say, ooh, how can I add to that by playing chops? How can I enhance that by playing chops? How can I bring that out more by playing chops? And you will see that you will elevate the performance. And this is gonna do two things for you. This is gonna show the audience the things that the producer or the artist wants to bring out in the song. And it's also gonna help the other bandmates to listen, because as they're playing certain figures and as they're singing certain things and hearing you accent them, they're going to notice that you're listening to them, which is number one, gonna make them feel good, and it's gonna make them in return listen to everybody else. That's why I tell people the drums is a leadership instrument. When you start doing one particular thing, everybody around you will continue doing it as well, and they will feed off you. So make sure that you don't just be a self-centered drummer. You enhance everybody around you. You make everybody's performance better as you go. So the next time you're getting ready to play in a musical setting, I want you to enhance the ensemble by asking yourself these three questions. Number one, you need to ask, what's the most important thing going on musically right now? Is it a solo? Is it a dance break? Is it the artist singing? What's going on right now? What should they be paying attention to? The second question you got to ask yourself is, how can I support what's going on in the music? How can I enhance what's going on? How can I enhance that important thing that everybody is supposed to be watching or listening to? And then number three, you want to ask yourself, is what I'm choosing to do sticking out and hindering the main subject of what the audience is supposed to be listening to? If you can answer those three things honestly, I promise you, you will continue to get called, because you will be a leader behind the drums and you will be helping the ensemble rise up and increase their ability to captivate the audience and give a good show. And that's what playing drums is all about. You are the leader. It is your job to enhance everything. Not too many other instruments on stage are gonna be able to do this. It's the drummer's responsibility to enhance everybody, to get everybody to listen to each other, and to get everybody to participate at a higher level. And that's what you can do if you lock in to these laws. All right, y'all, that is going to conclude this YouTube video. You just got the 7 laws that every elite drummer is following, whether they know it or not. They're following those things to be the best drummers that they can be. And you can easily implement those things into your practice today to become a better drummer almost instantly. With that being said, if you would like to become a better drummer at a faster rate, hit the link in the description to find out how you can work with me one-on-one. I'm gonna help you speed up the process to become the best drummer that you can possibly be. Don't hesitate to hit me. We can jump on a call and we can find out how we can help you. I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching the video. God bless you, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.